Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Recruiting Ain't Easy podcast. I'm your host with the most, Lewis Swartz. Real quick disclaimer, this is a personal page and this is not supported, endorsed, or whatever. All right, this is a personal page. All right, does not represent the United States Army, DOD, the United States Army, the Army National Guard, or any other government entity. For that matter, I represent myself, Lewis. I have over 23 years of service in the United States Army, specifically the Army National Guard. This month, I'll be celebrating, next week actually, 20 years as a full-time recruiter with the New York Army National Guard in Midtown Manhattan. With that being said, welcome to the stream. I have a lot to share with you. And if you are looking to join the Army, I help you navigate the joining process to help yourself make better decisions and to prepare yourselves for Army basic training. And soon I'll be helping recruiters to recruit primarily online like YouTube. So with that being said, if you are new here, let me know what state you are tuning in from. And if you're one of my repeat loyal Team Swartz squad members, go ahead and hit that like button down below and drop that hashtag Team Swartz. All right. So I work my way from the oldest comment, working my way up to the latest and greatest comment. So we get the mood going here, get some music going. The usual, feeding the ducks. Drop that down to like maybe 25. Turn down the volume on my end. Of course, it's not going to do it on my end. So hopefully the music on my end doesn't bother you. But with that being said, we got some comments up in here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Can you guys hear the music? Sorry, I guess I should have done my pre-combat checks earlier. I'm just going to drop it down just a little bit. All right, so without further ado, working my way up from the oldest right now, starting with YF23. We may be moving due to the fall Oregon wildfire. Should our town catch on fire, my parents had looked at commissioning in the Air Force, as dad is 41 and has a bachelor's degree. Kind of sucks, but most likely will not happen. The fire is moving away from Burns right now. Well, stay safe. I think I understand what you're saying. And hopefully your father gets in. If he can't get into the Air Force, definitely check out the Army. We can do an age waiver for sure for 41 years old. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. We got Luis Rodriguez back in the house saying hashtag Team Swartz. Hope all is well. Dropping in to show some support. Appreciate you. Thank you as always. We got Military Mike in the house saying Army and Army National Guard. Retired first sergeant with 31 years of service. 8 years active duty. MOS to 74 Delta. Chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear specialist. Air assault. And worked as a Sharana burn pits. Gotcha. Well, I appreciate your service and thank you so much for tuning in. That's awesome. 31 years. That's dedication right there. Appreciate your service. I'm only at 23 and a half. Bat Boss Jose says, yo, what's goody? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the stream. You know how we do around here. Super Friday, testing 1, 2, 3. Carson says, Grover, can you be a recruiter as a specialist in the Guard? I've seen a couple of recruiters with the specialist rank. So normally you have to be at least a specialist promotable to a sergeant. This is an NCO job. In my opinion, an NCO should be doing it. So if you are coming in as a recruiter, you should be promotable. It's also gonna, well, if you're going regular Army or Army Reserve, going to be a recruiter, for sure you're going to be an E5 sergeant. National Guard do allow specialists who have the time and grade, time and service, and the leadership course under their belt to get promoted to the next rank, which is sergeant, because this is, again, like an NCO job. So yeah, there are some exceptions to the rules for the individual states, but they cannot go to school to be a recruiter until they've met the time and service, time and grade for that school. YF says, teacher is helping with the fire. He is a 12 mic firefighter for the Oregon Army National Guard. That's freaking awesome. When I first was looking into joining the Army National Guard, I was looking into the 12 mic option as well, but unfortunately the New York Army National Guard does not have them. Props to them. That's awesome. We got Maryland tuning in with the hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate you, Bat Boss Jose. Military Mike says Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's what I'm talking about. Let me know if the music is too loud. I'll turn it up. All right. For some reason, my keyboard is not allowing me to turn it down on my end. Oh, I know why. Let me fix my speaker settings. I'll just leave it as is for now because it'll be distracting for me if it's any louder. And I don't want it to get into the mic, bleed into the mic. Cooper says, I'm in class right now to get my GED. What score would I need on the ASVAB to join the Army? So as of right now, I posted a video about it yesterday, or no, last week, that the 09 mic program is canceled until further notice. So if you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. So it's canceled for the Army Reserve and the Army National Guard momentarily till about on or after October 1st. The video will describe the rest of the details, but active duty right now is the only one that's open for 09 mic. And that they actually recently, within the last few days, changed it so that for every 09 mic that they want to put in, they have to enlist or contract somebody who scores a 50 or better on the ASVAB. So if you were already looking to go regular Army, then you have a greater opportunity to go 09 mic. But if you're in the Guard Reserve, we're going to have to wait. And in the meantime, like I said in that video, study like your life depends on it, and don't depend on programs like that. But good luck on your GED test. Gary Larson says, can you give me a little more on running shoes and what to pack, getting ready for basic, and shoes that should be something with me to basic? Thanks. Gary, awesome question. Got a whole video dedicated for that question right there coming in the chat box right now. All right, so yeah, I just say comfortable running shoes, and that's what you should wear to basic training, so you'll be able to wear those towards the later part of basic training. Worst case scenario, AIT. But don't bring any other shoes. Trust me, just go in running shoes, and that's all you need. And that video will go through the rest of the packing list. Andrew Zuckerman says, interested in joining the Army, 11 Bravo, which is infantry for those who don't know, but I have mitral valve prolapse, no symptoms, no restrictions. Would it be a problem? I know they are strict, right? Right? Heart conditions. Not sure what the right means, but yes, any type of, especially with the heart, that's going to be an issue for sure. It's definitely going to require, best case scenario, a medical waiver. Worst case scenario, no waivers authorized. The only thing I can say is get some extensive like physical activity type EKG and see a cardiologist to break down the severity and break down that mitral valve prolapse issue that you have. Like, would you be able to conduct everything but not limited to crawling, kneeling, walking, jogging, sprinting, lifting, pulling, pushing, even under heavy load, and for long periods of time with little to no limitations or restrictions. And as long as you otherwise live a healthy, active lifestyle, you should be able to perform all your military duties. If you can get an all clear letter like that from a cardiologist, then I would say that you're in a good position to go to your recruiter and hope that you get a medical waiver request. Right on Dirt says, I go in 2 weeks I'm going to the recruiting office in 2 weeks. I hope everything goes well because I grew up in Germany and went to school there. Would like to do 11 Bravo and go 82nd Airborne. All right, good stuff. And he's from Pennsylvania. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Brian Paul says, have you ever had an applicant get an H2 waiver after failing the hearing test? 2 different hurts in one ear, or am I really the first? I'm still waiting on Texas to release documents so I can TBC. Not sure what that means, but yes, I've had people fail the hearing test before. And when it comes to the approval odds, it's 50-50, but more times than not, they'll get denied. And depending on if you get rated as an H2 or an H3, it's going to significantly limit you to the types of jobs that you'll be offered in the Army. So those are very, very challenging to get approved. So good luck to you. Get my last waiver and go. Maryland here. Out friggin' standing. Good luck with the waiver. Braden Clark says, if going in as an E4 reserves, not National Guard, would you know how long it would be typically to get to E5, looking at 38 Bravo or 35 November or 12 Yankee? All right, so it doesn't matter if you're Guard, Reserve, or regular Army. If you're high speed, you could potentially get E5 within 4 to 6 years. Maybe faster if you're hyper high speed. But typically, if you're starting from the bottom, within 4 to 6 years. All right. Good luck to you. YF says, waiver limit for Army National Guard. Please let me know more about that question, because that alone, I have no clue how to respond to that. If you're asking like if you can have more than one waiver, yes, it could be like Pokemon. You can collect them all. But hopefully that answers the question. Brian Paul says, 19 kilo to start, going to college to get my undergraduate to re-enlist as a 27 Delta as an officer to finish my law degree to go JAG. That's what I'm talking about. Sexy anime girl, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well. Yeah, think long and hard and do some research about joining the infantry. You're going to hate your life sometimes here. Just saying, coming from an infantryman. That's what I'm talking about. I always say, especially if you're on the younger side, go combat support, get some real skills that you can use to transfer over to the civilian sector to make yourself more marketable. But if you're in the mid to late 20s, early 30s, and you want to do it, then by all means go infantry, do it for a contract, maybe 2, and then change to another combat support MOS. Some people think I hate infantry. It's not that I hate infantry. It's just, let's be realistic. There's not a whole, yes, I get there are some skills that you get with like dealing with stress and leadership and whatnot as an infantryman, but it's combat arms, right? Unless you're going to be some sort of legal killer on the civilian side, right? Or if you want to go work for like law enforcement or SWAT or something like that, then yeah, maybe. But I would rather a 17 to 23-year-old, or maybe even up to 25, go for a combat support MOS for their first contract, then go play Rambo for the next contract or 2, and then go back to a combat support MOS for medical reasons later on. But those are my quick thoughts on that. Cooper, I want to go active duty and potentially go 09 Mike. Is 09 Mike required for someone who has a GED? So you're actually not allowed to do the 09 Mike if you only have a GED, unless you've obtained 15 or more college credits, because a GED alone puts you in as a tier 2 level education evaluation. So a high school diploma or 15 or more college credits puts you in as a tier 1 level of education. So you want to be tier 1. GED is tier 2. So 09 Mike is closed off to tier 2. If that makes sense. Gary, you're very welcome. Super Friday says, can you pick your job before going to MEPS? What if you want isn't available? So I know for in the National Guard and Reserve, yes, you, or at least for the Guard, I can't account for the Reserve themselves, but yes, the recruiter on active duty and Reserve side can possibly secure your MOS before going to MEPS. National Guard requires you to do so. You will apply for your MOS before going there, so you'll know what unit you're going into, what MOS you have, where it's located, all that stuff. You're just not going to know pretty much when you're shipping off to training until you get to MEPS and you're getting ready to sign your contract. And the liaison, the National Guard guidance counselor, essentially goes into the system and schedules it. J-Doc, Team Swartz, AA, what's up, what's up? Brian Paul says, I already got the H2 waiver, waiting on the moral waiver. Well, there you go. You already answered your question. So if you weren't eligible for a moral waiver, then you wouldn't have been waiting around for the next one, right? So you answered your own question. Yasir says, hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. We got Daniel Angel. To all you younger dudes betting into, I think you mean getting into basic, much respect and love for y'all. I am 31 and I need a moral waiver from back when I was 18, so I probably won't get in. Shout out to y'all. Hopefully it's waiverable and you get in. And thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Awesome. The swag says, an E3 Stuttgart, Germany as 31 Bravo. What are the tips for studying for the board? Study, study, study. Memorize, memorize, memorize. And honestly, consistency is key. So study for 30 minutes a day. I'm pretty sure someone has given you a study guide, but I'm horrible with boards. Like, I could study for board, know all the answers, but when I'm standing there in front of everybody, I freeze up, which is perfectly normal. Most people do. But you gotta study, because the more you study, the more you memorize, the more confident you'll be. And just go in there, like, pretend that like it's just practice. It doesn't matter. And the fact that you're even at the board will speak volumes and will reflect upon on your NCOER or your whatever the lower enlisted eval is when you get your points at the end of the year. YF says, thank you. I want to be at 35 Lima. Outstanding. Anything 35 series is going to do you a lot of good when you get out of the Army, for sure. Right on Dirt says, perfect. I'm 28. From the Bama, awaiting moral waiver for the Air Force. Then I go to MEPS. There we go. Good stuff. Any tips for getting a security forces and a security clearance with the account of 2 in collections? All right. So when it comes to security forces, I know nothing about them. 1, it's Air Force and I'm Army. 2, when it comes to security clearances, there really isn't much that you could do because it was in collections. So unless you have the funds to be able to pay those off, like in full, that would be your best bet. So having things in collection shows that you've been financially irresponsible and makes you more susceptible to accepting bribes to pay off your debts or information that you could provide to the enemy. So hopefully you can get the clearance. I'm not sure how much you owe or whatever, but the only other thing that you can try to do is call up the collections agency and come up with a payment plan and negotiate how much you can pay for that month. Even if it's $20 and they say, well, we don't want $20 a month. We want $50 a month or $100 a month. And be like, well, take it or leave it. Beggars can't be choosers. All I can afford is $20 a month. Do you want this payment plan or no? And then obviously beggars can't be choosers. So they're going to be like, yes, something's better than nothing. And say, cool, before you deduct $20 from my account right now, I need you to send me an email with the payment plan in place of $20 a month, with today being the first payment of $20. And then get into that payment plan for both of those that are on your collections. And hopefully that will satisfy the needs for the background investigator. Ooh. Sorry, I'm so tired, man. My daughter was sick last night and took her to the ER, and it's been a long couple days. But with that being said, Daniel says just don't get a security clearance. That's one way. Big Pen says if you have a misdemeanor ticket involving traffic violations, would that be on a moral waiver side? If it's a traffic ticket for a moving violation, it's traffic. Unless they give you a criminal ticket, then that would be different. I've never heard of a traffic ticket being a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor screams to me like it's, what do you call it? Criminal, not traffic. I've been trying to figure out how to do my chair up. There we go. Oh, finally figured it out. All right. Super Friday says, I hear the issued boots are bad. Can you bring your own boots to basic? Man, they are atrocious and they weigh like 5 tons. It's ridiculous. They weigh like 10 pounds each and they're very uncomfortable and just horrible. Yes, bring a pair of your own boots. Start wearing them before you leave to break them in. To break in brand new pair of boots, I suggest, like, if these are the ones that are from your house, then I highly suggest that you go take a shower with them in hot water for like 5 to 10 minutes. And while you're in the shower, knock out like 100 squats and 25 lunges on either side. What I do, which you don't have to do, but I'll end up wearing those boots for the rest of the day. And then like every hour and a half to 2 hours, I would change my socks so that my feet didn't get tore up from the floor up from the moisture. But walking around in them, working in them while they're wet will break in your boots the fastest. Some people have different theories, but that's the way I break in my boots. And they're immediately broken into when I follow that protocol. Melvin Cologne says, my biggest hurdle getting ready for basic has been push-ups. I can do 5 to 10 at a time and I feel like I need a rest. Do you have any tips? Yes, do more push-ups. No, but seriously though, you do need to do more push-ups on a regular basis. What I would suggest, instead of doing them all in one shot so that you can fully recover, is for the next 10 hours or 12 hours, every single day, knock out 10 to 20 push-ups. Do that 4 to 5 times a week, and trust me, that'll help you with your push-ups. But I always tell people when they're preparing for basic training, oops. Did I turn off the music? Okay, here we go. Sorry, I hit something by accident. Hey, I'm just scrolling back up where I was. All right, we're talking about boots. All right, so Melvin, my biggest hurdle getting ready for basic. Oh yeah, we talked about push-ups. Yeah, so just do more push-ups. What I was about to post, yeah, that's what I did. So to prepare for basic training, I always recommend that you focus more on the cardio, because between your push-ups and other bodyweight exercises, between corrective training and morning PT, physical training every day, Monday through Friday, maybe Monday through Saturdays, is organized PT. So you're going to be doing more than enough body weight exercises and you don't have to worry about that too much. But cardio, you definitely want to work on that. All right, appreciate you. We got Kim G with the hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate you. I'm not sure if you were the same Kim that dropped that beautiful comment on that ASVAB support page, but if that was you, I appreciate that so much. I'm not sure if you saw my response or the like to your comment, but thank you so much, Kim. Appreciate you. Gary Larson says, what kind of boots do you suggest, kind sir? So for me, I mean, it's going to be up to you. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, it's going to be a long night. For me, my go-to boot for the past, since pre-COVID, has been Oakley's. These ones right here. and they look like this at the bottom. So anyway, those are my boots, and they're light, very minimal break-in period. Like I said, take a shower with them, wear them around for the day, do some squats and whatever, and amazing. I love them. The first iterations were way more comfortable, but more comfortable as in minimal, like 1 to 2 day break-in period without having to take a shower. I don't know if they did something different, or maybe my feet just got wider, but I felt like I had to definitely go through my protocol in breaking in my boots by taking a shower and whatever. But now they feel amazing on my feet. Oh, yes. Yes, here. Thank you for bringing that up and reminding me. Yes, breathing is very, very important. And just like he said, you're going to want to breathe in on the way down, exhale on the way up, keeping your core nice and tight. And when you practice like you fight, as they say. So you want to go all the way up, all the way down. You don't have to do like your hands out to the side, but lift your hands off the ground to mimic what you were doing for the Army Combat Fitness Test. Super Friday says, what is your opinion on the first 100 yards in basic training? I think it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome. It's actually more physically demanding than the old version of the shark attack. Although I do wish that they kept the shark attack and just incorporated the first 100 yards into it. Like smoke you like they did for the first 15 minutes or so of your basic training experience, and then go right into the first 100 yards. That's just my opinion. Jesus. Sorry. That's what happens when you wait till the last minute to get ready for your stream. All right, so I'm just trying to get comfortable. My back is messing with me right now. Can you enlist with a shaving waiver? No. But after you join, you can go to your local dermatologist, get a letter stating that they recommend, due to you getting bumps, to shave every other day, once a week, use trimmers, electric razor, something that like if you use an electric razor, just say, have the dermatologist back that up basically, and then you can get a temporary shaving profile until you ship if you're in the National Guard. But if not, you go to basic training and you can get your shaving profile when you're there after you're experiencing bumps and some messes down there. But I'll be posting a video within the next couple weeks about how to shave and the whole shaving thing in basic training to include shaving profiles. So definitely be on the lookout for that in the next couple weeks. I want to say that that's going to be my next video after the one I post to by the end of this week is going to be about autism, and if you had an IEP 504 plan growing up in high school and or college. Gary Larson, how far do you walk when you do ruck, which I've seen you do before, and how much weight should I carry in my backpack? Thanks. All right, so Gary, because you don't have a hiking backpack or a military issued rucksack or something with a frame, the purpose of the frame on hiking backpacks, the rucksacks, or the mid-size variant with the frame inside the backpack, the frame helps distribute the weight. And if in a good rucksack, well, rucksacks will have it, but a good hiking bag will have a waistband and a chest strap, which are very important when rucking. And don't let infantrymen or combat arms or anyone tell you that straps are for, you know what I'm saying? Use the straps. They, trust me and believe me, you will appreciate the straps. Okay. A hero is nothing more than a sandwich. All right. So what I recommend for someone who is just starting out is, for a good week or two, go out and walk briskly for, I would say, go for like 1 to 3 days at 45 minutes at a brisk pace. After that third day, 60 minutes. Do it every day with nothing on your back, except for, obviously, because it's hot out, your water source. I'm going to be doing a video on this, but after those couple weeks, you're going to put 10 to 15 pounds in a backpack. I would not recommend doing any more than 20 to 25 pounds in a backpack, like a regular school backpack, because there's no frame, probably more than likely no straps on the chest or the waist. And what that's going to do, what you're going to quickly realize after like 30 minutes, is the straps are going to start digging into your traps, and it's going to be very, very uncomfortable unless you get the appropriate gear. But if you're getting ready for basic training, I don't know if you're awaiting basic training or if you're completed all your initial entry training. But if you're a noob and you're just going out there and doing it, that's what I recommend. Less than 20 pounds. Keep it close to your spine, high on your back, like maybe stuff a sleeping bag or a comforter or something like that towards the bottom, and then put the heavier stuff up high on your back, closest to your spine, so you have a good center of gravity. Walk heel to toe, and again, 60 minutes a day. That'll be more than enough. You don't have to worry about long distances. Do that for like a month to a month and a half. Then you're going to want to change either the terrain, like if you're on flat ground, and add some inclines and declines, or do it faster, or add more weight. Those are the three things that we can impact: the weight, the distance, and the speed. But never two or more of those. Only change one at a time. Eventually, at basic training, you'll be walking with at least 35 pounds, not including your water source or any other equipment that we may add to your rucksack. But at minimum, that's how I would recommend that you do it. Slow and steady. And yes, I love rucking. I hurt my back about a month and a half to 2 months ago, and I've been afraid to go. But yeah, I've been having issues with my back. I have to go see a spine surgeon because my L4 and my L5 are misaligned according to the CAT scan that I got not too long ago. So that makes sense too when I was deadlifting last summer and had to literally use some old lady's walker for like 3 days. It was crazy. It was wild. Daniel says, that's not for me. Dade says, can I join the Army under a medication called... I'm not sure what that is, but Dade County, I'm going to try to pay attention up here. Is that olanzapine? Is that like a fat loss medication? What is the medication for? LH says, how many times a week do you run in basic? No more than 3 times per week in organized PT. Perfect says, I saw that if you go into the active Army as an officer, the branch you get is needs of the Army, and you find out after OCS. Is there any way to get your branch selected in contract before you go? No, unfortunately. I did a whole video on it right here if you want to check that out at your leisure. But OCS, when you go OCS, it's a wish list, and they don't have to give you what you want. It is based on the needs of the Army. However, if you are in the top 10% of your class and you're really good at what you do, then they'll try to accommodate you the best way they can. But at the end of the day, it's still based on the needs of the Army. You'll find out towards the end of OCS what you're going to be branching as. Like halfway to 3/4 way, you're going to find out. Yes, they're very, very light, and they're now comfortable after I broke them in. Oakley and Danners were my go-to boots when I served. Do I have the other ones right here? So let me know if you know who Gritty Soldier is on YouTube and Instagram. He highly recommended these boots, and I so wanted these boots to be comfortable. I don't like this strap, and I at first I didn't like the flat laces, but they grew on me. I actually do like the flat straps, and I see the value in what he was talking about. However, if you have wide feet like myself, like flat feet, this is not going to be comfortable for you. Now, I'm not sure when I ordered them if I ordered the wide boot or the regular boot. I'm assuming that this is the regular boot, or maybe this is the one size fits all. And these are not cheap. These are like close to $200. The other ones are like, if you find them on sale, like 135 to 150 from Oakley. But these are light, and I would tell you right off the bat, feeling these, this has got a more of a solid sole. And if you step on a rock or something sharp, you won't feel it in your foot. But the Oakleys are more flexible, and you could just feel more underneath your feet when you're stepping on like pebbles or sharper objects, whereas this one is not. Like, this one is solid, still soft, but light, but it's just more solid. I don't know how to really describe it, but it really hurts my feet because they're too narrow. And this is called, in case you're wondering, Garments. I'm not sure which one this one is specifically. Both of these are AR 670-1 compliant with the Army regulation. Of course, it doesn't say specifically to which one it is. It's one of them, but anyway, it's a Garment. That's my opinion about those, but to each their own. You have to find out what works better for you. Josh says, yo, what's up? What's up? Was a shark? Yeah, man. Shark Attack hasn't been around since like COVID. Since COVID, for sure. Josh says, taking the ASVAB tomorrow. Well, good luck to you. May the MEPS gods forever be in your favor. My test advice is, when in doubt, just like they told us in high school, when in doubt, choose C. Well, in this case, it's 3, because on the ASVAB, it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, 3 being equivalent to C. So when in doubt, choose 3. When the time is running out, because you're going to hear a buzzing sound, choose 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 before that time is up. For every question that you do not attempt to answer will be marked wrong. So before that clock runs out and hits 0 and that section ends, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay? It is the most commonly used answer on the test. Last but not least, paragraph comprehension. You're going to read the question first, so you know what you're looking for. You'll quickly realize that the answer is in the first couple of sentences. Then go down to the multiple choice answer. Choose the multiple choice answer that is correct. Make sure that you read all the way through that answer before making it your final selection, because sometimes the second half of that answer, after it sounding to be correct when you first started reading it, is wrong. So make sure that you read it all the way through before making that your selection. But good luck to you. Gary says, do you think Genesis will ever get ended? No, it won't. Unfortunately, it's here to stay. Hope your daughter feels better. Me too. She's had a fever, which has been causing like hives and stuff, but sorry. But thank you. Rickson Saragoza says, can National Guard members still do 09 mic? Yes, it's just canceled or suspended or closed until at least October 1st to include the Army Reserve. You know what's funny? I actually posted a video about this last Friday, and please, for the group, for those who are on the stream today, obviously I'm the creator, so I'm going to feel a type of way about it, but I'm open to constructive feedback. But I had posted this video on, well, actually just change it to this, but I had just posted it on an ASVAB support page to help people with tutoring, whatever. And I posted my video on there. And for the ones who actually watched it, actually enjoyed the video because it's very helpful and has a lot of great information. And I actually had a USAREC, who we call regular Army recruiters, all bent out of shape about it. And then she finally read it or watched it and was like praising me for the video, but she still didn't like the title. So the thumbnail now looks like this. I'll show you the original first. How about that? And then please let me know your thoughts. So this was the original photo. that the ASAP or the 09 mic program was canceled. I now today uploaded a new version, basically took the original thumbnail for the original 09 mic video and it just added canceled. But the biggest issue that the admins had on that ASVAB support page, and only recruiters, because no applicants had no potential applicants or soldiers had issues with it. Only the recruiters did. But the admin had removed it, siding with the active duty recruiters who didn't like the title and the thumbnail. They said that, what was the title? But they didn't like the thumbnail. And what did I put for the title? Let me know what you think of that real quick. Oh yeah, so the title said canceled, 09 mic program update and rant. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they didn't like the word canceled. They said it was misleading, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how is it misleading? Like, that's how marketing and what do you call it? Mic's not working. Uh-oh. Can you hear me now? Okay, good. Perfect. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think I was wrong for putting the word canceled in the title and the thumbnail? Can you, like, oh, I should probably still talk if you guys can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Give me a thumbs up in the chat box before I move on. All right, good. So audio is good. They're really cooking the emojis. Mic works fine. It was my Bluetooth. Oh, okay, good. I mean, not good for you, but good for me. Let's see. So I'm seeing it's semantics. Did you say permanently canceled? No, absolutely not. And the part that irks me about some people that go underneath, because all they see is the thumbnail and the title, and they don't even watch the video, and they just start commenting like they know what they're talking about when they never watched the video. If you haven't seen the video yet, if you want to help me out, give it a view and let me know what your thoughts are. Because yes, there's unethical clickbait and then there's ethical clickbait. Unethical clickbait, nobody likes. It's when you see the thumbnail and the title and you're expecting to see ABC. And when you're watching the video, sometimes you watch all the way through the video to get to the part where you thought you were going to see in the video because of the thumbnail and the title, and it's not there. Now that's unethical clickbait, and that hurts people. I use, or try to use at times, clickbait or ethical clickbait. So although yes, canceled is pushing the emotional buttons of fear and curiosity to get you to click on the video, but the video delivers on the exact title and thumbnail. So that's what makes it ethical clickbait. Yes, it is sensationalized by using the word canceled, but that piques curiosity to like, what do you mean it's canceled? Let me click and see what's going on here, and then click on the video and then go, oh, okay. So it is canceled, but it's temporary and it's coming back on or after October 1st. And he's providing tools to help you get through the ASVAB test on your own without using this program or what have you. And then I had like a rant towards the end because I feel like the mindset of certain individuals who don't like certain aspects of the 09 mic program. So I don't know. I don't think I did anything wrong, and it's just weird how, I guess my other pet peeve with the ASVAB page is people who are not in recruiting answering questions that recruiters should be answering and putting out bad information. But yet they can talk and say whatever they want, but I post a video that actually helps people and they just don't like the way that that one word canceled on it bothers them and it gets removed. Makes a lot of sense. Exactly. Shroopy noopers. Absolutely. One person calls clickbait, the other one calls search engine optimization. Absolutely. I like that. All right, so let me go back to where I last left off. Super Friday. I learned that if anyone is pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetes, the waiver require their A1C to be below a retention level of 8.0. All right, there you go. I should actually keep that highlighted. Awesome. Now, let's see. Yes, here says somebody else. So Big Pen doing it right with the Q says, besides cyber and pilots, which MOS have you seen translates the most to civilian side? Pretty much any combat support MOS, whether it's human resources, finance, logistics, supply, mechanics, communications, military intelligence, anything other than those who fight on the front lines like Rambo will work and translate very well in the civilian sector. Whether or not that combat support job that you choose or end up with in the Army is what you're trying to study in college or a VOTEC school is a different story. But yeah, there's like over 157 MOSs. Super Friday says, I saw soldiers deadlifting at recruiting event. Do we have to do that in basic? Yes, you're gonna have to do a 3 repetition maximum deadlift during your Army combat fitness test. Ooh, antipsychotic medication. Unfortunately, that falls under mental health, and that is gonna, if you're currently taking it, you're ineligible to do the medical exam. And for that type of a medication, you're going to have to be off of the medications for 2 to 3 years, closer to 3 years before you'll be even eligible to take the medical exam at MEPS. I did a whole medical waiver guide here that will help you through that whole process and what you need to do within 3 to 6 months leading up to you going to MEPS with your recruiter at that time. So once 36 months passes after you conclude your medication and you're stable, then 3 years from the moment you get off medications. Okay. Jack McCarthy says, how long until I sign my bonus? It hits my account after AIT. So once you get to your unit and you're in processing, the unit admin needs to initiate the first payment because you have to get MOS qualified. So once they provide the proper documentation, upload it into IPSE. It's a software program that you've gotten MOS qualified, and they'll initiate the first payment. And then I would expect that within 60 days or less. Typically 30 days or less, but I'm giving you worst case scenario, 60 days or less. And that's if they actually put in for it in a timely manner. All right. Marco says, does the Army National Guard have some benefits as the Army, like tuition? Any prerequisites to qualify for the benefits? Thanks in advance. Marco, man, I got a video just for you. This is why I love my channel, because like, oh, that's the pay. Never mind. Wrong video. So what I love about YouTube is I've been recruiting for like 20 years. And sometimes I get tired of saying the same thing multiple times a day. So it's just easier for me to do a whole dedicated video. And I'm going to give them the summary version, but they can watch a dedicated video that goes into grave detail, which is clear and concise without the fluff. Now, to answer your question, yes, whether you go regular Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard, all three of us get the same exact federal tuition of $4,000 per year, which is not a lot. So you get $4,000 in your federal tuition assistance. As a reservist, we have the Montgomery GI Bill, the 1606 Select Reserve GI Bill to be specific, in the Guard and Reserve, which off the top of my head was increased to about $454 per month for each month that you're in college for 36 months. I don't do math in public, but you multiply 455 or 454 times 4 months per semester, and that's what you'll get, whole dollar amount direct deposit into your bank account. The federal tuition assistance goes directly to the school, so you don't see that money. Now, that's not a whole lot of money, won't even pay as a full-time student in a community college here in New York City where I live. But if you're going to go to college like 1 or 2 classes a semester, then you can make that work for you, and powers to you. But if you want to go to college and be aggressive and graduate by a specific time frame, which is shorter rather than longer, then you might want to check out the Army National Guard if you go on part-time in the Guard or Reserve, because Guard offers, in addition to that $4,000 through the federal tuition assistance, we have state tuition assistance, which is going to be state specific. In the New York Army National Guard, we pay up to your first 4-year degree free of charge to all community and state colleges and universities, or in New York we call and refer to it as SUNY and CUNY. Or if you decide to go to a private university, we will pay up to the SUNY rate, which last time I checked, $7,070. So you can combine that $7,070 with the $4,000 in federal tuition. Between the state and federal tuition, that's $11,070 per year that you could use toward your private tuition fees. Okay. And if you're going active duty regular Army, after your first 90 days of regular active duty time, not including your initial entry training of basic training in AIT or your OSUT, once an additional 90 consecutive days goes by, you will qualify for 50% of that GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill benefit. To get the 100% or the full effect of that benefit, you have to complete 3 years in all to get that 100% benefit of the post 9/11 GI Bill. So a lot of people will do 3 to 4 years active so they can get that full benefit, leave regular Army so they can go to college for free or relatively for free, depending on which college or university they go to. And they get a hell of a lot more money through that route, but it takes you time of 3 years or more to get that benefit. So it depends on what's important to you and how you want to go around it. But either way, going full-time or part-time are both excellent options depending on your needs, wants, goals, and desires. All right. And that video will go into that. I don't talk too much. I don't even think I even talk about the post 9/11 in that video, but that's for active duty anyhow. And if you want the GI Bill kicker, which is an additional scholarship, you have to score, at least with the National Guard, 50 or better in the ASVAB. It sometimes is MOS and or unit specific as well. Spectra Air says, I was able to get someone to join the Guard and I ranked up to specialist. How would I go about getting the new Army recruitment ribbon? My recruiter said he has never heard of it. What do you mean he has never heard of it? Come on, man. Come on now. Come on now. Seriously? All right. So every state do things differently. Our ROC, or the Recruiting Operations Center up in Battalion, they go and they submit that federal request to get you that award. But that person has to ship to basic training in order for you to get the credit. But it sounds like you already got the credit, or maybe they gave you the credit for the state. But at least in our state, the Recruiting Operations Center submits that request for you on your behalf to get that award. If you direct message me on Instagram, I think this is a very good question. I'm going to highlight it so I can look at it later. Maybe I'll do a dedicated video on this. I'll talk to my battalion and see how they do it and what they would recommend one person to do in this event or in this scenario, okay? In my Instagram page, the link is this here, or you can find me on @Team Swartz. What do you mean I have an abnormal heart rate? My watch is yelling at me. I didn't even do PT today. I should probably look at my heart rate, huh? My heart rate is like between 106 and 108 right now. And I'm not even walking around or doing anything. That's wild. Just shows that I'm getting old. 42 years old, man. As soon as I hit 40, that's when everything started going downhill for me. Now it's dropping down to like 98. So weird. But congratulations on getting someone in. Jay says, from a recruiter perspective, ooh, this one might sound like a good question. From a recruiter perspective, have you seen any updates on mental health waivers being processed quicker with the current recruiting shortages? Genesis seems to be a pain for everyone. Yes, Genesis seems to be a pain for everyone. And this is my official opinion, personal opinion. Again, not DOD, US Army, Army National Guard, or any other government entity endorsement, support, or whatever. Okay. No, I'm dehydrated at the moment, and I probably shouldn't even be drinking coffee right now. I definitely need to drink some more water. But with that being said, I think it's a MEPS problem, not so much a Genesis problem. I do feel that now that Genesis has been out, the conditions like mental health, meaning depression, anxiety, ADD, and ADHD that were previously disqualifying conditions, Genesis is exposing the truer quality of applicants that are joining, and that definitely forced DOD, Department of Defense, and MEPCOM, who oversees MEPS policies, has made adjustments to allow certain conditions in and loosen the restrictions on the waiting periods and conditions that would normally be permanently disqualifying conditions to be possible through medical waivers. So in my opinion, I think that in this aspect or this way, Genesis has helped the applicant and the soldier joining. The issues that I'm seeing are MEPS being short-staffed, undertrained, ill-prepared, making too many elementary mistakes in like canceling pre-screens, appointments, like woosah. Let's just say MEPS Medical is not my favorite person in the Army right now, or in the military. But anyway, again, it's more of a MEPS issue than a Genesis issue. Suman Pudel says, hi, I used to wear 9.5 shoes, but when I went in to get my size measured at a store, I got 11.5 running shoes. What size boots would I choose in basic training? You don't choose. The person is going to have you stand on a foot measuring device, and they will issue your boots based on your actual foot. So you don't choose, they'll choose for you. Sierra says, is there any restrictions as far as me tagging along with the recruiters to go out recruiting events? I'd love to dive into my career and encourage folks who like me. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Recruiters are always looking for people to help them out with events. So if your recruiter is doing like a school event or a job fair or something like that, absolutely go tag along with your recruiters. And the way I always work it as a recruiter is, even though you may not have talked to that person that day, because you were with me working the event, getting people's names and numbers, everybody that we accumulate for that day, your name is going on that. So if any of them do convert in contract, then you're getting credit for that referral because you put in the work. Wei Wu says, think they recently changed the OCS branch process. Active duty is now like reserve and guard. Career manager will reach out to them prior OCS and ask candidates their top preferred branches, not based on OML. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. That is definitely something that is new. Definitely worth looking into. Kim G says, yes, it was, and I did. You are more than welcome. Hope daughter is feeling better. Thank you. I appreciate that. And again, thank you as well. It means a lot. Chef Hood says, do you think someday they will give waivers to marijuana users? we do give waivers to marijuana users. So as long as you are not convicted for more than 2 misdemeanor possession charges, then you're good to go. You can get a moral waiver and you can drive on. If you mean like you were in service and knew that you were not supposed to be using CBD or THC products and you urinated hot and failed a drug test for that, as of right now, there are no waivers for that. Now, the only additional waiver that you could get is if you were a non-prior service, someone who's never served in the military before at MEPS, and you fail your drug test, after 6 months, you could retake the drug test, providing that you pass, then we can submit a waiver and that will get approved. That's the only difference between the other 2 scenarios. Matthew L says, just wanted to ask, what are the weight requirements for the Army? It's going to be age and gender specific based on your height as well. Psych Awesome says, I'm in physical therapy right now for an ACL tear. I'm 13 weeks post-surgery. Will this prevent me from joining? There may be, which will be determined by MEPS, to how long your minimum waiting period is, not based on what your doctor says, but what MEPS dictates for that type of a surgery, to wait before you can apply for a medical exam at MEPS. And then once you complete that, you'll do their orthopedic consultation with the contracted orthopedic. Those results will be sent to the CMO, which will review and eventually close out your medical and then recommend permanently disqualified, no waivers authorized, or permanently disqualified, recommends a waiver. Or third option would be good to go, continue the process if otherwise eligible, meaning no waiver required. I guess you could add it postponed until further notice, but other than that, yeah, I guess so. But it wouldn't be as like clickbaity, you know? Like, I was looking to maximize the effort of curiosity with a hint of fear. Like, what do you mean it's canceled? Like, I was really looking forward to this. I gotta go see what's going on. That was my mentality when I created the thumbnail. Because we're all fighting for views, you know? We're looking for them eyeballs. And most of the eyeballs were all about the former President Trump being shot at last week. So the attention was definitely more on him, and rightfully so. But Gary Larson says, I am starting to right now to get ready for basic, and I live in Florida. I've already taken the ASVAB, got a 70, 115 line scores. Now waiting for a blood test to confirm from CMO. The heat is killing me. Yes, the heat is horrible. Great line scores, by the way. Great overall scores. Absolutely awesome. Nabil RFA, the way that they're going about it now, requiring 1-for-1, because what happens is the more people that we contract that score a 50 or better on the ASVAB, the more people that we could put into the Cat 4 program. So the way that regular Army is going about it now is it's 1-for-1. You give me someone who scores a 50, I'll give you a 09 mic. I agree with that. I think that's a pretty good. It sucks, but this is a seasonal thing. We're at that season now where we're in the fourth quarter and we're narrowing down to the end of the clock of the fourth quarter, like during the Super Bowl, if you follow sports. I don't, but I think you'll understand the analogy. So we're like in the fourth quarter, nearing the end, like the last couple minutes of that thing of football. Quarter? Whatever. I swear I don't watch sports, and I'm definitely showing that right now. But anyway, it could go away, and I would not be shocked if it does. Jay says, wasn't it Second Amendment too? Semantics, blah, blah, blah. Gary says, when it comes to heat and humidity, once I get cleared in hopefully a month or, do you think that I will be in the winter training? Yes, almost everyone that I'm contracting right now are not leaving until after October 1st. Most are between October and November. One is even like next February. Sai or C says, is there anything I could do to prepare for Army basic training? I've been doing push-ups until failure every day. Well, that's a really good way to get started, but I wouldn't do any more than 2 days straight to muscle failure. Muscle failure is a tool, but it shouldn't be the norm. Like, it shouldn't be every single day. But my suggestions are in this video here. I even have a downloadable PDF that you could download in 3 days of bodyweight exercises, and I would supplement the 3 days of traditional weightlifting with cardio days as I described within the video. Infantry One Bank says, can you believe that they raised the infantry ASVAB score to 87? That must be this must be a new update. I have not seen guidance coming out saying that they increased it. Last time I checked, which was like a week or two ago, it was 77. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to star this so I can look into it. Maybe I should do like an update on some of these questions that I didn't have answers to begin the next live stream. The problem is, we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to star this so I can look at that later. Good question though. Matthew L says, I took the PyCat a while back. After that, I took a break and I'm trying my luck again. All right, good stuff. But consistency wins the game every time. But you're going to take the PyCat once, unless your recruiter fat fingers the social. X says, I might be late, but for the thumbnail question, I think you should have put postpone. I appreciate the feedback. I think the word, for me, if I were to choose a different word, if we want to be more accurate without offending anyone, suspended with a question mark. Or would it be better if I put canceled question mark? Would that tell a different story and be less offensive? Do I have a question mark on it? Let's see. No, I don't. Of course not. Why would I? My bad. Originally I did, but I guess when I redid the thumbnail, I forgot to put the question mark. But do you think that the question mark would have been the saving grace? I don't know. I don't know. But postpone, I like it. I dig it. I just wanted the wow factor. YT Brock says, hello, sir. Not a sir. Well, I guess I am on the channel because it's a personal page, but yes. So I have history of SRRI use. I was on Lexapro for about 7 months and then hopped off it and went back on about 6 months later for 3 months, cold turkey with no adverse reactions. Well, I'm glad that you didn't get adverse reactions, but I honestly have no idea about SRRI. Let me ask. What is SRRI in medical terms? Someone who's using Lexapro. What does SRRI mean?
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, SSRIs, a class of antidepressants.
Okay.
Used to treat anxiety by increasing serotonin levels in the brain.
Okay, so you're gonna have to watch my medical waiver guide for all the best tips with that. So you're gonna have to be off of medication for 2 to 3 years be stable that time period, get well, the video will go into more detail, but get a site consultation for 1 to 2 hours, make sure you're otherwise good within 6 months of you trying to go to MEPS to do your medical exam, and you should be fine by then. But yeah, that video is going to go into more detail.
For 3 months.
Super Friday says, if you want to enlist as a band member, do you give the recruiter your credentials before going to MEPS? So yes, you're actually going to have to audition, at least in my state for the Army National Guard, we have you audition. There are 10 songs that you will memorize, and you don't know which 3 they will randomly select, but you'll have to play on the spot. And then they're going to give you 1 to 2 pieces of music that you'll on the spot have to read and play relatively flawlessly to get into our band for whatever instrument you play. Now, I'm not sure how regular Army or Reserve do it, but that's how our state does it in the National Guard. And once that's approved, then we can put your request in for 42 Romeo to be a band member. Yasir says, I'm currently studying through March to Success course. Is it useful to you to a recruiter? Honestly, I've never used March to Success, primarily because it's a regular Army tool. And I know that as soon as the applicant puts in their email address, that like their information gets put into a hot lead list, and like every recruiter is going to start calling that person. So I personally don't, it's not that I have anything against, like if you want to do it, by all means, but I'm not going to be advertising a regular Army tool for them to, you know, try to get their foot in the door and confuse my applicant, if you know what I mean. But I have heard great things about it. The problem is I started to do the March to Success test before I learned that they curate a course for you. There is a really, really long practice test that you'll take, and it felt like it was taking forever. And I'm already in, I'm a recruiter, and I was doing it myself just to understand and have empathy for applicants who are about to go through that course. I'm not gonna lie, I got bored and I was like, F this, I'm done. And I never looked back since. Maybe if I had a better experience or knew the true value of it, then I would do it. From my understanding, what March to Success does, as long as you can survive the practice test, meaning actually completing it, based on the answers you get wrong, it customizes a course to teach you the things that you lacked on in that practice test. So it is actually a very good practice test and a very good course if you use it consistently on a regular basis, just like any tool. Jordan Jansen says, waiting to have waivers approved to re-enlist after about 10 years out. Go 09 Sierra in, I'm not sure what NE stands for. Nebraska, baby? Nevada? No, Nevada is NV. Probably Nebraska. Miss it already. Miss it. Ready to go. Ready to do more. Gotcha. Understood. Good luck to you, and hopefully it works out for you in your favor. YD Brock says, I was suffering from anxiety and went for help, but unfortunately they just gave me medication instead of listening to my case. Got you. Well, if it was anxiety, that might help you, but you're still gonna have to be off of medications for, if it's anxiety, maybe 1 to 2 years. But if you did express some depression, then that'll be like closer to like 2 to 3 years. That's just based on my experience so far. Shrupi Nooper says, I should specify by debt. I mean debt from federal student aid. Thanks. Okay. So Shrupi, when it comes to the student loan debt, is, if I remember correctly from earlier, how much are we talking about? Is it 2 different loans and 2 different amounts, or what's the, I mean, this is kind of personal. So if you want, you can direct message me on Instagram at TEAM SWARTZ and we can take it from there. But if they're deferred and they're not making payments, then you're going to be fine because they're deferred. But if you owe them and you haven't been paying them, that's going to count against you. And yeah, let me know the dollar amount if you're willing to share that. Hala Rafael says, will filing for bankruptcy while waiting to ship date after enlistment have an effect on my military career? You know, somebody actually asked me this question the other day, and I'll say it again. But to answer your question, the military does not like it when someone has filed or is about to file for bankruptcy, especially if they're in a position of a secret clearance or top secret clearance or greater. The reason being is when you're filing for bankruptcy, what you're saying to the world is that you're financially irresponsible and you don't know how to manage your money properly. And it makes you more susceptible to receiving bribes, thus increasing the risk factor of you being in service, because the last thing that the military wants is you to share or leak confidential, classified information to our enemy to satisfy your financial irresponsible spending habits, if that makes sense. So to answer your question, you're about to ship and you're asking if you should file for bankruptcy. The answer right now is no, because it is dumb easy to get you discharged by doing so, especially if it's a secret clearance. So do your best to maintain the minimum standard, whatever that is, until after you graduate AIT, and then make an informed decision sitting down with a financial advisor that the Army will pay for you to sit down with. Because I know in the New York Army National Guard, we actually have one on full time that will sit down with soldiers, come up with a budget, right? And a debt relief or debt strategy to pay it off, right? So it's all about trying to figure out ways, because like there's always ways to make more money. You just have to figure out a way that works with you. And you obviously you're in, it sounds like you're in a tough spot, so you might have to dedicate a side hustle for the next 2 to 5 years to get yourself like debt free, right? So whether that's working an extra job part-time, doing something on the side, selling something online, you know, becoming a user-generated content video person where you're creating content like you're the user of said product and then they pay you to make that content. I actually got offered my first UGC the other day. It's pretty awesome. I'll keep you guys posted on that, and then when it happens, you'll know. But it's amazing. But pretty cool. I didn't even, when they said UGC, I'm like, what's UGC? ChatGPT, what is UGC? Anyway, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Sponsorship's one thing, but I've never heard of UGC. Anyway, but yeah, so find what you can do to make extra money. Like when I was a teenager, I worked at this place that I would use a pickup truck and a extended hydraulic steel trailer to deliver 1-2 car garages, barns, gazebos, and things of that nature. So I did that Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday through Saturday. And then on Sundays, I worked at a gas station pumping gas and, you know, some minor admin work. And then I had drill weekends for the Guard on the weekend, 1 weekend a month. And then while I was working all of that, I would pick up side jobs doing whatever, mowing lawns, picking up junk and taking it to the dump and whatever, right? Manual labor type stuff. So I was working like 127 hours or more a week between the 4 different things. So that's kind of entrepreneurial, but I was killing myself because I wasn't getting any sleep. But there's always something that you can do to make money. Hopefully that makes sense. Manny Dingo 30 says, hashtag Team Swartz. Question, is it true you do not have to go back to MEPS if it's been under 2 years since you passed? As in take the whole medical again. So if you've taken the ASVAB test and the medical and you have not signed your contract, it is true that both of them are good for 2 years from the date that you completed the ASVAB and the MEPS medical. Now, if your prior service and you got out of the military, you have 12 months to get back into the military without being subjected to Genesis or a MEPS medical exam, providing that you have your PHA completed, your physical health assessment, within the last 6 to 12 months of your discharge date from service. And then we can get that evaluated and blessed off, and you don't have to go back to MEPS. Yassir says, stop the cap. About what? Who's lying about what? Let me know. Talk to me. Super Friday says 106 heart rate. Are you getting electro? Oh, yeah, I already talked about. Well, I had saw that. Don't say that. Just turned 40 in May. Check lights are popping. Yes, my check lights are popping on left and right. If you had asked me like 3 to 5 years ago, I'd be like, man, when I retire, it's going to suck because I'm not going to get any disability because I'm one healthy mother flower. But everything started going downhill a couple years ago. But if anything can go wrong, it's going wrong. So anyway, Estevan Rio says, about to graduate air assault school in West Point. Any idea of any other school I can walk on? Airborne, maybe, if your command is willing to send you down there. As long as your leadership supports you, you can pretty much go to any class and hope to be a walk-on in case somebody gets dropped for whatever reason. And your unit has the funding for it. Super Friday. Why are people at MEPS so mean? Because they were probably bullied when they were kids, and this is their way of getting back and feeling important in their own eyes. But I hate when MEPS are mean or inconsiderate or extremely rude. It's uncalled for. And it's one of my pet peeves. Hate it. Antonio Suzo says, finished basic, second time around, and here at AIT now, 88 Mike. Thank you, Sergeant, for the awesome content and being accessible. I appreciate that a lot. I'm not going to lie. Doing this late in the day, not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired, but the reason why I do this is because I like helping people, and it's one of my passions. But you're very welcome. Congratulations on completing basic training the second time around, and good luck in 88 Mike School. Keep doing great things. Pay attention in class. Stay off your phone at night. If you do, stay on the phone for like 30 minutes. Review your notes for the day. Study for an hour or 2 hours, one or both days on the weekend. Sleep when lights is out. Don't just stay on your phone and randomly go through like TikTok videos or whatever. Just go to sleep. Be well rested. 88 Mike School is not one of those academically challenging schools for most people, so that might be a little overkill, but you never know. It really depends on your ability to retain the information that you learned during class. So make sure you're participating in class as well and writing good notes. And good luck. Kendra Fraser says, hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. My recruiter said it would be better for me to enlist, then go OCS later rather than go straight OCS because I got 2 waivers. Is this true? The only waiver that's going to prevent you from going OCS is a moral waiver. If you have a moral waiver, you cannot. Well, actually, I stand corrected. If it's a minor waiver, the OSM, at least for the guard, our OSM, the officer strength manager, can do a waiver for minor moral issues. Up until this one OSM did that, we were always told that no waivers are authorized until it was. So it really depends on the officer recruiter if they're willing to process the waiver. It is like Pepperidge Farm bread. It's wrapped twice, and most recruiters don't want an extra step between you and toast. If you know what Pepperidge Farm bread is, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you get my dad joke. But with that being said, it takes the process longer. So most recruiters don't want to go through hoops and go the extra mile to have you go OCS now, especially if you're in this situation. But if it's a serious moral waiver, like DMPM is like the highest waiver authority that will decide upon your moral waiver. If it's going to DMPM, so if you hear those 3 letters, DMPM, you're not going to be able to go for OCS. If it's something minor, it's a possibility, but again, it's up to the OSM and the recruiter to go the extra mile to do the work. Most of them are not. In rare occasions, it's possible, but don't count on it. So if you need a moral waiver, generally speaking, it's closed to you now. Look at it as an investment. If you're denied or they don't submit the waiver and they say that you have to go in and list it first, it's a setback to set you up for success, for your comeback, right? Meaning that you join as an enlisted soldier, and for the next 2 to 3 years leading up to the point where you're about to complete your initial contract, at least after 2 years, then I would say submit your OCS packet to go OCS, because now you have 2 years under your belt, 2 annual evaluations as a lower enlisted of proof of concept or the narrative that you are a good high-speed soldier. So in that time frame, from the time that you first joined till the time that you finally drop your OCS packet, you need to go above and beyond of what is expected of you. Be the best that you can be in every aspect of your MOS, you being a soldier, and your time in service. That way, when it comes to you dropping your OCS packet, because you've become and developed yourself to be reliable, dependable, showing up on time, being in the correct uniform, doing more than that is expected of you, and overall a phenomenal soldier. Now the commander knows who you are because you're always doing right, even when no one's looking. And then, and they're going to say to themselves, you know what? This is a high-speed soldier. They're always great. They're awesome. I hear nothing but great things about this soldier. Sure, you need a recommendation letter. I got you. And they're going to write you that recommendation letter and you're good to go. And now you can go OCS. However, if it's not a moral waiver and you want to go in, then again, if it's medical, tattoo policy or something like that, then those waivers can be approved and you can go OCS. That's fine. But moral waivers is 50-50 depending on what it is. If you can, I always recommend go in up front. And I talk about it in more detail in this video here. Interesting perspective. MEPS being the bottleneck is something I haven't heard before. And like, yes, Jay, I'm actually going to do a short dedicated video on my opinion about Genesis and address some things solely based on my experience and observations since Genesis has come out, because I have gone through seasons where I was blaming Genesis, but as time has gone on, the bottleneck. And I liked how you said that term, bottleneck, or that phrase. But yeah, it is more MEPS in my opinion than Genesis. Genesis, yes, to a degree, but I feel like MEPS is more toxic than Genesis towards the enlistment process. AK Alex says, if you had open heart surgery at birth, can you still join the Army? If you can get an approved medical waiver, yes. So what I'm going to say is you're definitely going to want to watch this medical waiver guide just so that you're aware about the waiver process and some tips and insights throughout the whole thing. It's a bit of a watch, but it's worth it. But with that being said, schedule a visit with a cardiologist. Get a stress test done and an EKG. I'm not in the cardiology field, but if you can get an EKG done while you're jogging or walking on a treadmill, and an EKG done when you're just sitting and relaxed at a relaxed state, get those 1 or 2 EKGs done, but definitely get a stress test done, right? And the EKG to submit with it and make sure that those are completed within 3 months to 6 months, no more than 6 months from the date you're trying to go to MEPS. In addition to so Genesis theoretically is supposed to go back as far as your electronic medical records go. And there is no it can only see the last 3 years. What I've learned in my experience at Genesis can go as far back as your electronic records go. So what I suggest is go see the cardiologist, like I said, for the stress test and the EKGs, and then go to your primary care physician. Hopefully you've been there for a while, but let's say it's been 3 to 5 years or 10 years or more, which would be ideal, but get a letter from your primary and have them write on a letter that patient A has been with me from this date till now, and under no circumstances have they ever entered my office expressing any type of heart issues or heart complications or anything cardiology related. And based on their evaluation and assessment of you by being their patient for however long that was, that whatever heart surgery you received as a child has no bearing or issues with you being active today. All right. And combining that primary care physician letter, all clear letter, and the cardiology results and all clear letter, along with everything else I talk in that medical waiver video, you could very well get an approved medical waiver. You just got to go the extra mile to get those 3 things done. All right. So the more medical documentation that you have to support the narrative that you're healthy and capable of serving your country, the better. You also have to remember that when you're processing for the military, yes, you might be very well fit and fully capable of performing your military duties today. But what MEPS and Genesis is concerned with and factoring into the formula of should we allow this person to join or not is the risk worth the reward? Meaning that, yes, you can train and do all your military duties now, but later on in your career, when your physical condition, because when you join the military in a certain condition and you're not the same condition and your condition has degraded because of your military experience, the military will compensate you in the form of disability for the rest of your life because of certain injuries, illnesses, and things that the Army has done to you in your life, to your mind and your body, and they will compensate you for the rest of life. So is it worth paying you X amount of percentage of retirement money in the future, worth it for you to join now, knowing that you have this medical issue from the past? Now, in my opinion, because you were born that way, basically, and you've been born till now, signs and symptom free of any type of heart defects or heart issues, you have a long history of being perceived as a healthy human being. And that's going to work in your favor. If you had told me at 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old I had heart surgery, that's a different story, and it's going to make it a lot more challenging to get the approval. But with the proper documentation, and hopefully if you have the medical documentation from when you were born, if not, also add to that a letter, a handwritten letter notarized from your mother as a form of a statement that confirming that we tried to get his medical records. I looked through our filing cabinet. I couldn't find the medical records pertaining to his heart surgery when he was born. However, I do remember that when he was born, to the best recollection of my mind, this is what happened. This is what he went through, and he has fully recovered and has never had any issues with his heart since. So your mom's letter, the cardiologist, all clear letter, the 2 EKGs and the stress test, your primary care physician letter. So that's 4 letters plus your applicant statement, and your recruiter should have you complete a physical activities report, as I said in that video, to also show that you work out, you're consistent, you don't have any issues, and so on and so forth. All those things together collectively is going to help support that narrative that you are a healthy human being and that you can perform your military duties with no limitations or restrictions or be at risk of heart related issues because of that heart surgery when you were born. It's a long-winded response, but hopefully you find that helpful. Definitely go check out, I don't recall if I posted it in the chat, but I'm gonna post it here. It's also linked down below, the medical waiver video that I did. All right. Let's see. Team Swartz, can I post a link for you in regards to the weight question? There is a calculator for that on the National Guard website. The way I have YouTube set up, because of scammers that are out there, I have links turned off for everyone else but myself. So JDoc, if you direct message me on Instagram at Team Swartz or email me at teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. I'll put my email here too in case you want to email it to me. But yeah, I don't know about that link. And if I like it, I'll share it with everyone on my communities tab here on YouTube. Absolutely. I appreciate that. So yeah, it won't come here, but I will be more than happy to post it there. All right. Hashtag Team Swartz, learning arts and animations plus random stuff. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Super Friday says, if you fail MEPS medical, but your condition improved, will they let you retake the physical? It's not so much that they'll make you retake the physical unless you were denied the medical exam. Then yes, if you have new medical evidence or documentation to appeal their decision, then yes, absolutely. Okay. But yeah, as long as you have new medical evidence, you can definitely resubmit and see what happens. Kareem says, can't wait to do my MEPS. Well, I can't wait either. Good luck to you, and may the MEPS gods forever be in your favor. JM says, in 2009, I only scored 34 on the ASVAB to join the Army. This new minimum score is crazy. Super Friday by ASVAB score. People have to remember that it doesn't mean AFQT score. There are composite scores too. Yes. Big Pen says maybe postponed would have worked. Yeah, it's a possibility. Ride on dirt. If I have a school certificate from Germany, I should have it translated first. If you can, yes. If not, the military will do it for you. If you're going active duty, they have the funding to be able to do the translation and the evaluation for you, and you won't have to spend any money out of pocket. If you're going National Guard, depends on your state. For the New York Army National Guard, we've exhausted all of our funding to do all the evaluations and translations. So now the recruiter is paying money out of pocket for that, if the applicant can't afford it. Dade County, can I join the Army while on? No, unfortunately you cannot. Dade, I think you missed my response, but check out this video and I'll explain everything to you. Kool-Aid Man Kills is coming from the Air Force active duty. Got my waiver denied for inhaler, never used. Was not born with asthma, but the inhaler is on my pharmacy records. What are the chances the National Guard? I am from New York City. So Kool-Aid Man Kill, if you're trying to go National Guard, I know a recruiter that you could reach out to. I don't remember his name, but their contact information is going to be in my description area, and you could definitely reach out to him. I can't tell you who he is because this is my personal page, but if you can read between the lines, I know a guy that knows a thing or two that might be able to help you out. But to answer your question, your recruiter is going to have to get to know your history. And if you claim that you've never been diagnosed with asthma or had any documented medical emergencies or doctor visits of you expressing or exhibiting signs and symptoms of asthma, and we can get the proper documentation to prove that, to include a negative PFT. And there's another thing, I forgot what it's called, but I have it saved in my photo album. I hearted it so I could find it easier. But if you reach out to that recruiter will verify whether or not you meet the prerequisites for a medical waiver. But if it's done correctly, yes, I feel like you could get a waiver. Now, you're claiming that you never had childhood asthma, but you didn't really say if you did or did not have asthma as an adult. And let me know I actually went to your office and you left early. The big double doors this week, Monday. Also, I did a pulmonary test and is clear. All right, cool. So you know where to find that recruiter. But my contact information or my email is down below. But I got you. But yeah, let me know. Did you have that PFT for the Air Force and they still denied you? Let me know. Tyler says, do I have the right one highlighted? Okay. So Tyler Elkin says, do you know if there is a way to drop a packet to go selection for the 160th during 68 whiskey? I'm not sure what the 160th is, but if you're active duty, they're going to give you a wish list of where you want to be stationed. So talk to your leadership at the training site during AIT when you first get there and put that on your list and hope that you get what you want. Quinn says, because of you, I was able to get my waiver and get through the process. And now I'm at 2nd Ranger Battalion. You helped me so much. Thank you. Wow, that's pretty awesome. Yo, hit me up on my DMs and Instagram. I want to know about the Ranger Battalion. Yeah, hit me up on my Instagram. Maybe we'll do a podcast together and talk about your experience in basic training. And I'm glad that my videos helped you out and you appreciating my videos and content. I do appreciate that feedback, but I'm really, really curious to talk about your experience in the Ranger Battalion and your road to your success. All right, appreciate that. So Kool-Aid says, yes, that was the main reason my recruiter went with me all the process because he thought MEPS would approve it. Otherwise, he would give me the door if he didn't. All right, yeah. It sounds to me like there's more to the story that's not being stated, but when we talk, we'll talk about it and I'll see what your options are. Okay. Was that MEPS denying it or was that the Air Force denying it? You can answer that question in the meantime, but we'll definitely talk offline. Mystic Megan says, what are some common misconceptions about joining the National Guard that you'd set the record straight for aspiring soldiers? Mystic Megan, it sounds like you watched my video or two, but I have 2 videos. National Guard myths. Yep, here it is. National Guard myths debunked, educating active duty and Army Reserve recruiters since 2004. And then another video I did here. So Mystic Megan, are you still here? I'm really curious. And let me know if you did watch that video and that's why you're saying that comment. But yeah, so some common misconceptions is that the Army National Guard is strictly state and they only have state funding and they run out of money, blah, blah, blah. That is far further from the truth. And we actually receive both federal and state funding so that we can knock out state and federal missions, schools, and everything else. And if we were strictly state with only state funds, then how is the... Oh, you didn't know about those videos. Outstanding. Well, you're welcome. You'll enjoy the videos. Trust me. It's just funny how you use the word myths. So that's why I assumed that you saw that first video talking about the myths of the Army National Guard. But yeah, definitely go check them out. It's in very grave detail, but it's clear and concise. I promise you there's no fluff. Hey, J-Doc, thank you for sending me those links. Appreciate you. All right. And yeah, so yeah. And then I don't know. It's just active duty recruiters talk so much crap. And I promise you, if you want a good laugh, go watch me educate them in the comments. Because every time I post a video about the National Guard, they always want to challenge me. And I see the thing about me is it's not about what you say, it's what you can prove. Kind of like in court, right? So I linked like va.gov website links, the National Guard official links. I even added a reserve link and a Go Army link. Like, come at me, bro. I got all the resources available and I'm going to make you look like a fool. So any active duty recruiter that comes on there talking trash, man, I will educate them. I've been recruiting since 2004. You're a noob in this house. Show me some respect. Somebody called me a nasty girl on Facebook yesterday. I said, put some respect on it. Capitalize N and G, because we are the nasty girls. I am the OG and Pogue. Don't get it twisted, son. Anyway, there's a couple of dad jokes for you there. Yes, Kool-Aid. That is very true. And I'll tell you a story when I get to your comment about one of my soldiers. But with that being said, that's just one of the myths, but the video will go into the rest of them. Shroopy Nooper says all of them are through Nelnet. One of them something loan services, but there's technically like 16 smaller loans, all of their own unique terms. It's a racket. Oh, I think these are the student loans that are in collections. Gotcha. What's the overall dollar amount that you owe? Is it less than 2,000? Or are we talking like way more than that? Jay, they should make a rate. They should make a rate my recruiter like, they should make a rate my recruiter like they have with the rate my professor tool. Yeah, that would be dope. I would definitely support a tool like that. Maybe I should create a website for that. That would be interesting to see. That would be pretty cool though. Jonah Abreu says, I wanted to join as a 12 whiskey, which I believe is a carpenter. I want to say it's a carpenter. But everyone who has been in it has said that they do not do a thorough job and suggested Navy Seabees. I don't know what to do. My recruiter says 12 whiskey isn't available. Isn't available at AIT, or you're in AIT now. Jonah, if you're still here, let me know. Are you still currently in AIT, or you're waiting to go to AIT? Because you're like throwing off your question for me, because it sounds like you're already in 12 whiskey school. Are you still there now? I'm still in the process of joining. Okay, cool. So this is what I'm going to recommend to you. Yes, by day on my main thing is a recruiter, right? At the end of the day, I want what makes you happy. So before I give you my response, all right, Jonah, do me a favor. Let me know if you're going active or part-time. Are you going full-time at the 12 whiskey in the regular Army, or if you're contemplating on doing it part-time in the Guard or Reserve? And are you going to college, and is college extremely important to you? Because this is going to dictate how I respond to you, so I can minimize the longer winded response. So I want to get to everyone else's questions as well. Reserves. All right, perfect. So if you're speaking to an Army Reserve recruiter and there are no 12 whiskey slots, talk to a National Guard recruiter to see if there's an engineer unit within a reasonable travel distance to where you are, right? If you want to stay Army. If the Army National Guard recruiter does not have any engineering battalions or units around you, then obviously that too is not going to be an option for you. Then I would say you could either A, wait for college is not important right now. Okay, cool. So scratch that. Well, right now, like, because you want to go to basic training, or like right now for like the next 5 or 10 years, because there's a big difference between education benefits between the Reserve and the Guard. But Cliff Notes, talk with your local Guard recruiter, see if there's an engineer unit that has 12 whiskeys. And then you can ask, if they do have it, do you have any open vacancies? If they don't, then you know the Guard is not an option. And right now, the Reserve is not an option unless you're willing to wait until a 12 whiskey slot becomes available. That's that. If not, Seabees is another excellent engineering type field to get into in the United States Navy. My stepfather was a Seabee, absolutely loved it. And I am an engineer in the Army National Guard at that time it was a 21 Foxtrot crane operator, but due to my rank in them revamping the MOSs, I'm now a 12 November as my secondary MOS, because my primary MOS is 79 Tango as a recruiting and retention NCO. But I enjoyed my time in the engineers. Now, whatever. That's a different story. But I enjoyed my time as an engineer. I love getting my hands dirty. I love manual labor. It's one of the downsides of being a recruiter and human resources. You're stuck behind a desk. But with that being said, all right, so yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, if the Army and the Army National Guard don't have any 12 whiskeys, then definitely go check out the Navy because their CBs are legit. I hear they're really, really good too. I just don't like the Navy uniform. Not for me, not my style. 4K says, I go there every year and I have no restrictions or blood pressure meds. I forgot what that was about. Who's that again? 4K Alex. Let me see what he said earlier because I lost my chain of thought on that. Oh, if you had open heart surgery at birth, can you still join the Army? Okay, now the follow-up question was, again, I go every year and I have no restrictions or blood. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that you're eligible for, at the very least, I believe that you will be disqualified, but we'll recommend a medical waiver. And I think that if you get, like I said, a stress test done, EKG at a restful rate or a restful state, and maybe during the stress test, I think, and then everything else I said before, I think that you have a good chance of getting an approved medical waiver. Kendra Fraser says, I have a BA in psychology, want to go 68 x-ray, but my ST line score is 3 points below the requirement. Will a waiver be easy to get for that MOS? Unfortunately, 68 series is not authorized line score waiver, so you're going to have to retest. Unfortunately, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. What? Actually, you know what? In addition to your education, are you somehow working within that field using your psychology degree? I don't know if you're still here, Kenja, but just let me know right now in the chat box, yes or no, if you're working in some capacity in mental health. Yes or no. Ten. I'll be like a drill sergeant. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to give you my response in case you come back here and post or look for your response. But anyway, Kendra, to answer that, a recruiter / guidance counselor can request those 3 points to be waived by sending the schoolhouse your credentials. So if you have a 4-year degree in psychology, with or without work experience. So either way, if you have some sort of mental health work experience, that will significantly improve the probability of the schoolhouse approving you for those 3 points because of your education and your experience. If you don't have any experience in the mental health field, but you do have the education, it's going to be, the consideration is going to be less, but I still think it might be good enough because it is a 4-year degree for them to waive those 3 points. So you never know unless you ask for it. So you just have to get your recruiter to get the guidance counselors to submit that request to the schoolhouse to request those 3 points to be waived. I think it's possible. Not guaranteed, but it's possible. Super Friday says, if you don't have it on hand, I have the DoD medical standard for retention PDF file with all the conditions listed and requirements. Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's on my government computer. You're talking about the DoD, right? DODI. Nabil Arife says, update, got my site consult scheduled on Monday. So hyped, out freaking standing. Good luck on that consult. Hope it all works out for you in your favor. Kendra, yes. All right, perfect. So if you have the work experience, and the 4-year degree, that's going to significantly increase the probability that if the guidance counselor actually submits the 3-point line score waiver, because that's what it's called, a telephonic line score waiver, right? But because this is a 68 whiskey MOS or 68 series MOS, line scores are not typically authorized. So with that being said, they could possibly waive it because of those two things. It's just, it has to get requested with those two documents in the email request to the schoolhouse. Take my PyCat tomorrow. Well, good luck. Make the best of it. Army Kid says, yo, I'm back. What's up? What's up? So Kool-Aid says, I actually went to the, oh yeah, we already talked about that. Sometimes they are. Great Lawrence says, I am going for 09 mic program to increase my ASVAB scores. Can I switch to OCS after getting better score right after the 09 mic? I have a master's degree in cybersecurity and level 3 certs. So at 09 mic, can you choose that option? No, but choose another MOS that you can see yourself doing for some time. After you get to your first unit of assignment, once you're MOS qualified, wait 6 to 12 months and then drop your OCS packet, and I think that you should be good to go. But you won't be able to choose OCS at the 09 at the completion of the 09 mic program. But good luck to you, and make the best of this opportunity. Kool-Aid says, yes, that's what it was. Main reason my recruiter went with me all the way to the process because thought Maps would approve it. Otherwise, would have given me the door. True. Let's see. Kucharo watching my recruiter still AIT. Oh, what's up, man? What's up with the hashtag Team Swartz? Glad you're here, man. Hope all is well. Hope a family is doing well too. Mystic Megan says, I actually did not know about those videos. Okay. Oh yeah. I remember now. Yeah. Hopefully you watch them and like them. Tyler says, Special Operations Aviation Regiment. I hear mixed things about having to be an E4 because it's a flight medic, but also hear that it's just up to your PT scores and test scores. Possibly, but from my understanding, to be a flight medic requires you to be a specialist promotable to Sergeant E5 because it's more of a sergeant position, and before you can get eligible for that school, you have to be a specialist promotable to sergeant because it's a very intense, academically challenging school, more so than a 68 whiskey school. Coming from a medic, that's what he told me. Kool-Aid says, but again, each branch has their own recruitment. For example, Marines want 10 pounds compared to the Air Force, which I had to lose 35 pounds from 95. So assuming the same, yes, it's definitely going to be branch dependent too. Super Friday says, a recruiter since 2004. What do you think about the new 420 TMOS? Is that what I think you mean? Because that's not a thing. I've never heard of a 420T, but if I'm thinking 420, no comment. Naib Pagan says, hello. I have a question. How does the part-time drill sergeant role work? It's a full cycle. Do you get to choose where your location training in ADOS states? Thank you very much in advance. So in the Army National Guard, like I am drill sergeant qualified. If I were to go to the trail, it would be typically during the summertime after I've already made my mission for the year. And it would be like 2 or 3 years and it would be considered like my annual training. If you're in the reserve, it's the same thing, 2 or 3 years, and that would be your annual training. Sometimes when funding is available for the summer surge or whatnot, you might get like 3 to 6 months, sometimes a year, orders to be on the trail. And you just got to ask for it when you're in those positions. Let's see. Goulet says, but give me more details about my story. I was hospitalized in 2021, and once I got out, they gave me an inhaler in case I needed it, but I never used. Okay, but again, when you were hospitalized for it in 2021, was it for asthma-related symptoms or was it for like COVID-related symptoms? It's two very different things, right? Again, was it listed as asthma? Oh, the new okay, yeah. I didn't know it was called 420T. That's the warrant officer option, correct? for permanent recruiters. 420T, talent acquisition technician. I'm gonna have to look into that. That's not that new warrant officer program, is it? Super Friday. Roberto Del Bosque says, have been contemplating the SF route. How would going 68 Whiskey 18 Delta compare to going to 18X? How difficult? How much time would dropping a packet be before I go? Roberto, he also asks, would it make sense to go 68 Whiskey route if time between finishing AIT and going to selection wasn't a priority? Yeah, that's a possibility. To really understand your situation and to have all the correct answers, I would definitely recommend you check out my Special Forces video that I posted last... I don't even think... No, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. Let me show you the thumbnail so you choose the correct Special Forces video. I did a podcast with a Special Forces operator who is currently recruiting with the Sergeant First Class Klaus. But that is the thumbnail to the Special Forces video that I want you to look at. All right, screenshot that if you need, but definitely go to that video, and in the description area and a pinned comment are the point of contacts for those Special Forces recruiters, and they can answer your questions accurately. Jonah, you're very welcome. Raymond says, I'm planning to enlist in the reserve, but how soon can I get or be able to access education benefits? So state tuition assistance is going to depend on the state. And you won't get the GI Bill until you graduate from AIT. But I know that there was recently a change in some of the federal benefits. I don't want to put out bad information. That's a really good question, and I want to verify that before I share that publicly. So do me a favor, direct message. I'm going to star this because I should know this. I just know that there was a recent change, and I don't want to put out bad information. But if you direct message me on Instagram at TEAM SWARTZ, I'll put the link here. And I'll look that up sometime tomorrow and let you know. Austin Winters, brand new member. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tyler, hang on. But if you're going back to Raymond's question, you might want to check the National Guard out before you join the Army Reserve for college benefits. This video will explain everything in great detail, and that's because of our state tuition assistance in addition to the federal tuition. And then your local recruiter for the National Guard will break down to you how and what the state tuition does for you in your state. So for example, in New York, as long as you go to any CUNY or SUNY college, public, community college, or state university, we pay 100% up to your first 4-year degree. Other states offer more, some are less, some are reimbursements, but we pay at the end of the semester once we verify that you've in fact passed all your classes, because we're not going to pay for failure. And you don't even need to use a federal tuition after that, if that makes sense. Tyler says, I got 100 on EST, need a 101, and I got a 1-point line score exemption for 68 Whiskey. Yes, so for the GT, you're allowed 2 points for, she said 3. Actually, you know what? You just reminded me. It's one or the other, but 68 Whiskey allows 2-point line score, but there was a recent change about the 68 series. That's why I was hesitant in sharing this. There was a recent change where either no line scores were authorized at all for 68 series, but I have to double check. But at one point, 68, in fact, I think it's in my jobs video when I broke down the line scores that don't authorize line score waivers. You can check that video out. But 68 Whiskey was, I think it was the GT score could waive up to 2 points. And I want to say the ST line score was waiverable up to 3 points. But it was one or the other, not from both. But you might be onto something. But I do remember about 6 to 12 months back, they made an adjustment to the line scores for 68 whiskey, and I want to say, or to MOSs, and 68 whiskey was one of them. But I'm gonna have to look into that. So I'm gonna heart that or star this so I can look this up. So for the person who's looking to go 68, whatever for mental health, let me know and I'll look that up for you. Kaninzi Bahina says, how many times can you take the exam? I am looking to score a 106 to get into the 68 kilo MOS. So by MEPCOM policy for testing, once you pass a test, by regulation, they don't have to allow you to retest. But in general, you have 4 attempts within a 24-month time period. The first test, you wait 30 days. After the second test, you wait another 30 days. After the third test, you got to wait 6 months. And then after the fourth test, you got to wait 12 months. And then on the 2-year anniversary from the initial test, then it restarts. And you have 4 more attempts from there, as previously described. Super Friday says, what religion do you have to be for chaplain assistant? Any religion, honestly, but they do prefer it that you are whatever religion that you practice, are a devout follower of that religion. But not always the case. In my experience in recruiting, it used to be never a requirement. Only recently did the New York Army National Guard prefer that you practice within your religion, whatever that may be. But yeah, if that's what you want to go for and that's your calling, go for it. Kendra Fraser says, I am glossary non-prior service. Will I be treated as a new recruit during basic training? Been out for 16 years. Yes, you will be a brand new boot. Naib says, that sounds like a great idea and opportunity. I'm becoming a drill sergeant while in the reserve. Thanks for the answer. You're very welcome. And if and when you do go or get selected to go to the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, he said it. It'll make sense when you get there, but yes, here's a video just for you and how to prepare for the Drill Sergeant Academy. Kool-Aid says, so my discharge paper says I got a pneumonia thorax, which in basic terms is when your lungs get full of fluids. Oh, that's an easy slam dunk waiver, my friend. Jesus, say less. I'll have you in the guard in no time. I mean, that other recruiter will have you in the guard in no time. This is a personal page. I just want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Austin Winters for joining the member section of my YouTube channel. Appreciate you. And if you got any ideas of what you would like to see on the members section of my YouTube channel, be sure to let me know in my Instagram DMs. Right here is the link. I would love to hear your suggestions. Super Friday says, if you're married, do you get BAH in basic and AIT? You will get BAH if you have a lease or a mortgage in your name, and because you have dependents by being married and or with kids as a single parent, then you will get the BAH at the dependent rate. All right, just because you're married doesn't mean that you're going to get housing allowance. Now, of course, your active duty, like if you're joining the regular army and you're married, then yes, it's automatic. You don't need a lease or anything. But for the guard reserve, you do need a lease or a mortgage in your name. And if you have dependents, then you get it at the dependent rate. But if you're going regular army and you are married and your family's coming with you, you will get housing allowance. Austin Winters asks, hey, longtime fan, been inspired by you. My question is, how do you drop weight the fastest? I want to enlist before my 26th birthday in October for active duty 68 whiskey. So my suggestion, which this is a great short-term, not long-term diet, because if you're like me and you love carbs, then this is going to suck, but it's going to suck so good at fat loss. So you're going to lose so much fat so fast. The stricter you are in this strategy, leveraging a ketogenic diet caloric deficit, intermittent fasting, walking 1 to 2 hours briskly per day, and drinking a gallon of water minimum per day, that strategy will have you losing at least, I didn't have a whole lot to lose, but I lost 32 pounds plus using that program. Now in 2.5 to 3 months, I lost like 28 pounds. And in the last month, I lost up to like 32 and whatever I said in the video. Some of the details are a little fuzzy, but 32 pounds lost in less than 4 months, you leveraging and using that strategy. So check that out. Hopefully that's enough to get you to where you need to be. And by November, the 09 Mike program will be back. I'll post a video about that. So with the 09 Mike, if they don't change it currently right now, they're allowing you to be overweight with your body fat percentage being no more than 2 to 8% over your maximum allowable body fat per your age and gender. And that program will teach you everything you need to know to live a healthy lifestyle through proper diet and exercise, and talking about everything about that, and working out 2 to 3 times a week. The morning workout is going to be your primary high stress, vigorous workout, and then a moderate workout in the afternoon, and then maybe some yoga or stretching or recovery drills in the evenings. But definitely go check that out, and good luck to you. Nabil Arafe says, oh, that's for Austin, not for me. And yes, Nabil says, and yeah, I said it earlier, first thing in the stream, but yes, if you weren't here for that, 09 Mike for active duty is still a thing, still available. Austin says, so I was told I have to lose 15 inches before I can join. I mean, without having all the other information, I wouldn't be able to know how to respond to that. So I don't know your unique situation, but if you DM me, I'll look into it and ask you some additional questions to understand your situation and give you further advice. Mac, what are your thoughts on opting out of HIE and other health information exchange programs connected to Genesis at TEAM SWARTZ? All right, so Mac, now I don't condone this, and I don't practice this. I've heard about it. I recently heard about it again and how effective it is, but you're shooting yourself in the foot. All right, so I'll talk to you soon, Austin, but there is a way, allegedly, I don't know from experience, but others have said that they go to their local pharmacy, and I'm not saying to do this, but I'm saying that people have done this and they claim that it's worked for them. So allegedly, they go to the pharmacy or pharmacies they've ever gone to pick up their prescriptions, and they sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to not release your medical records to anyone. And then they go on to lifelock.com. They create a free account, which I was told that lasts 30 days, and then you can cancel it. So in those 30 days, right before your recruiter submits your complex pre-screen to go through HIE and Genesis, they initiate the LifeLock, and between the LifeLock and the NDA at the pharmacies, block anyone, to include Genesis, going through HIE, blocks everything so they don't see nothing, and then you're able to clear to go to MEPS to conduct your medical exam. And then you conduct your medical exam before that LifeLock is up, or you would keep it on until you complete the medical exam. So then that way they don't go back through MEPS. But that is a bad idea that you should not do, and here is why. Because yes, you'll get the green light to join. No one will know better because you didn't disclose it, because you illegally didn't. But later on, when you go to retire and you're like, man, my back hurts, my knee hurts, this hurt, that hurt. And when you go to retire, they're going to look into Genesis and see that you had a pre-existing injury or issue that you should have obtained a medical waiver for. So because you never went through the proper protocols to get your medical waiver, there's no baseline to show or prove. This is the baseline of where you started at time of service, to show or prove that due to your military service, your condition has degraded and you're now eligible for disability. So because there's no baseline to base it off of, and they were never aware of it because you failed and lied to disclose it, any injury that was pre-existing that's bothering you now that the Army caused to get worse, you will not get compensation for because you didn't go and do it the proper way to get the proper waivers. So do your due diligence, go through the extra hoops, do it the right way, submit the paperwork, and get in the right way. Because if you do decide to make this a career and do it for the long haul, you're gonna want that disability payout at the end. All right, just throwing it out there for you. Super Friday, just in case I don't get to your question about full-time in the National Guard, I'm dropping a video for you to check out later. It's also linked down below. So I'm about to wrap things up because my wife is gonna get mad I'm here and my daughter being sick. VPAC says, in your opinion, what are the chances of getting mental health waivers approved for old self-harm incidents that resulted in 2 stays at an inpatient behavioral health centers? This was as a teenager. Well, if 10 plus years has gone by and you've been stable and you've overcome those, then I would say you're eligible for a possible waiver with all the tips, insights, and best practices located in the video coming into the chat box now, which is my MEPS medical waiver guide. That'll walk you through that entire process, and I do address that specifically towards the later part of the video. Fat Boss Jose 12 says, wow, that was smart. I don't know what was smart, but Kendra says the link in what jobs you qualify for in the video isn't working, won't let you input scores. Yeah, so funny story, I recorded that video and like 3 to 6 months later the Army revamped their websites to look more sleek and modern. Unfortunately, they did not bring back that feature, so that link doesn't work. I should go and delete that link, but I uploaded a link for you to download an Excel sheet that you can open up on your computer to pretty much do the same thing. So if you open up that Excel sheet, plug in your line scores by, if the number, like the GT line score was like 101, then click on the 101 and change it to your line score for your GT. So if it was a 98 or a 105 or 110, just click on, in this example, the 101 and just type in 110, whatever your new line score is, and then make sure you check off if you are a US citizen or not. Anything that remains highlighted is an option as described in the video. Super Fighter says, how do you get active National Guard? All right, got to your question. Good to go. Kennedy says, can you post this live? Post what live? What do you mean? Understood. Thank you for explanation. Is LifeLock only active for 30 days or can you keep it active? You can keep it active, but there is a subscription fee that I'm unaware of how much it is because I never looked into it. But it's been a rave lately. Can I show you live? I don't know if I have it here on my personal computer. Let me search for it real quick. Actually, you know what? It's on my YouTube video, right? Let me go to my video. Hang on. Why is it not working? Oh, wrong one. That's why. Oh, hang on. That's why. Oh, it's still not working. Hang on. Now I'm using a Mac, so I don't know if it works on a Mac, but I'll try. Give me a second.
What is going on, y'all?
The music stopped. Are you guys still here? Oh, okay. Hear the music coming back on. All right, hang on. All right, so let me see if it works on Google Sheets. Okay, perfect. All right, cool. So when you open it up and your browser on Chrome suggests to use Google Sheets, do this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I've never done this before live, which I think is pretty cool. But excellent question about doing it live. So yeah, the live videos do save. I post them. I don't hide them because I'm all about helping people. You know what I mean? All right. So present, share screen, MOS quals on the Google Sheets. Share. All right. So can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah, you should be able to see me. Okay, good. Yeah, I had the screen so small I couldn't even see myself. All right, so as long as I'm on screen, you guys can see it. So let me go back over here. All right, so let's say, let me bring my screen over here so I can see it. Sorry, let me oops. Let me just get situated here. All right, so this here is what the Excel sheet on steroids looks like. All right, so hopefully you guys can see the screen. So let's say so if you got a copy of your line scores, like a photo of it from your recruiter, you're going to click on, in this case, a drop down box and you go down that way, but I'm just going to type it in. Let's say you got a 110, then you go to GM. Let's say you got a 98, 90, let's say you got, let's say 95, and you just update everything to whatever, right? And you're going to do that for all of them. So when you do that and you see these here, if you can see my cursor on screen, I don't know if you can see that, but from OCS through horizontal construction engineers at 12 November, anything that remains highlighted is a possibility for you, meaning that based on the test results and your US citizenship and or your driver's license, these are a possibility for you to join. The darked out, shaded off, or whatever, like the dark ones means that it's closed to you for whatever reason, meaning you don't have the line scores for it. So over here, don't worry about the are you a junior split training option for the juniors to high school seniors, but you definitely want to click here if you're a US citizen or a green card holder. So it's either yes or no, okay? And if you have a driver's license, yes or no. Normal color vision, yes or no. And don't worry about any of these other things. And leave this line score as no. What that means is it's going to automatically allow you to have 5 additional points as a line score waiver for more options or MOSs. So if you do click yes to this, right? I don't know if this will work because it's a Mac, but let's see if it works. See how that got rid of these? That means there's more options that you were not actually qualified for. So if this is yes, then it's not applying a 5-point line score waiver. Just keep in mind that when you do switch this to no to add those 5 additional points and they give you more options, MOSs, as described in my jobs video that I posted in the description area, do not allow you to have a line score waiver. All right, so watch the video, screenshot that, so you know what MOSs allow or that don't allow line score waivers, if that makes sense. Okay, hang on a second, my wife is calling me. Yes, baby. Hello. Yes, baby. All right, I'll see you soon. I'm on live. Okay, bye. Alrighty, so that is the Excel sheet. It is located in the, so I'll show you the video real quick.
What is going on, y'all? Welcome.
So when you're on the channel, on at least the desktop version and even in the mobile device, when you see this more here underneath that, like, what do they call this? The description area, click on more and you're going to see a green check mark that says MOS jobs qualification chart. This is the link. So when you open it up, it popped into a new screen that I'm not sharing. But with that being said, it'll open up the spreadsheet from there. So, all right, cool. I think I'm on screen right now. But anyway, that is how you look them up, and that's how you find out what you're pre-qualified for. Now, at the time that I uploaded it, it was current as of that day I downloaded it. So this will get you in the general ballpark of availability, okay? All right, so last question I have for the night is with MEPS, I have contacts and glasses. Will that cause an issue? No, but during the medical exam, wear your glasses. Don't wear your contacts. Wear your glasses. And if you want to know what to expect at MEPS, you can watch this video here. Again, all these videos I'm posting down below are going to be linked down in the description area. Hope you guys like that walkthrough of the Excel sheet. Super Friday, you like helping people. What is your sign? Where were you? I was born in January. I am a Capricorn. Oh, shoot. I apologize, Lens Delva. I didn't see the super chat because I was doing the walkthrough of the Excel sheet, so I apologize. But with that being said, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. It does go a long way. And you say, I enlisted today as a 25 uniform in the New York National Guard. I leave for basic October. Thank you for all the videos and information. You're very, very welcome. Do me a favor, Lens Delva. Direct message me on Instagram. All right. I got to talk to you about something. I appreciate you. Congratulations. Welcome to our family. And I love the support and glad that my videos have helped you out in some way. Troopy, can I talk to any recruiter or do they have to be geographically near me? Do people talk to multiple recruiters? So I'm not sure. I mean, I understand your question, but I don't understand your situation and what the struggles that you're going through right now. And it also depends on the component of the Army or branch of service you're trying to get into. But I would have to ask you some questions to understand your situation before I could adequately respond to that in a constructive way. So Shroopy, do me a favor. Hit me up on Instagram and I'll reach out to you sometime tomorrow or over the weekend. But we'll definitely talk about it because I'm getting ready to log off. Max says, last question regarding opting out. Does the Army conduct a secondary Genesis check at basic training? Thanks. As I stated in my Genesis videos, because I have 2 of those, if you want to check those out, if you want like the lowdown, detailed, and very researched videos, you can check those out. But if you get injured or give them a reason to, when you go on a sick call, to look into your medical records, then yes, they will go back into Genesis to see if it was a pre-existing injury or illness that you had before joining the Army. Other than that, no. Watching this in AIT, great content as always. Fort Eisenhower, Fort Gordon right now. Out freaking standing. Appreciate you tuning in and thank you. I'm not sure if you're still here, but I appreciate you. Super Friday, how do you get the spreadsheet? I showed you how to do it. If you don't know, direct message me and I'll send it to you. Kendra Fraser says, when I do it, it says I have to request editing comments only. I have it so that anyone can use it, but there should be an option to where you can request to edit it and I grant it for you. I've been getting that lately for some reason, so I might have to go into my Google, I think it's in my Google Drive or Dropbox, but might have to go back in there and adjust the shareability or whatever. But yeah, just request it or I'll look into it tomorrow. All right, H-Town, appreciate you. Tennessee says, thank you, you're very welcome. Carbonite Flux says, is there an option 19 to be able to be stationed at Virginia. I plan on going into 13 Juliet, going back to sign my contract next week. That is a active duty, regular Army specific question that I don't know the answer to. But your local Army recruiter would be able to let you know if that would be an option for you. There are probably other stipulations and things that you would have to meet to get duty station of choice. But you might be able to do like a quick Google search to see if 13 series is located at that location in Virginia. My guess is there's probably no military field artillery unit in Virginia. Or, yeah. Tennessee, when we have the next live, I usually go weekly at 7 p.m. unless I'm out of town or have to start at 8 because my job, my full-time job, my real job, has me running late for the day. But I do plan on going on vacation for 2 weeks next month, so I won't be on for those 2 weeks. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. If you haven't already done so, please like the video down below. They say it helps the algorithm, but the fact that you guys are commenting here, hanging out with me for a little bit, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Stay blessed, be good, and I will see you next week.